The goal of the social narratives intervention is to teach a target skill or behavior in an identified social situation to students with autism ages 3 to 22 using a social narrative. The social narratives used in an intervention describe social situations for learners with autism spectrum disorder by providing relevant cues, explanation of the feelings and thoughts of others in the social situation, and descriptions of appropriate behavior expectations. There is no cost or formal training, but an online training module is available through the National Professional Development Center on Autism Spectrum Disorders website. There are 3 steps to the intervention. In the planning step, the educator must identify the social situation to be described, write the social narrative, design the appropriate display for the social narrative, and identify the times or activities to use the social narrative. Part of the provided materials found from the module connected to the National Professional Development Center on Autism Spectrum Disorders website is a planning worksheet and a checklist for social story. In the second step, using social narratives, the educator introduces the social narrative to the learner, reads the social narrative with the learner, and reviews key concepts with the learner. Then, the learner participates in the identified social situation. If appropriate, the student and educator discuss participation in the social situation. In the monitoring step, the educator collects data on target behaviors and determines next steps based on learner progress. Monitoring checklists and an implementation checklist, shown here, are provided. The practice has been effective with learners in preschool to high school. Social narratives increase learners' understanding of social situations and what is expected of them in those situations. Skills and behaviors that can be addressed using social narratives include making choices, increasing social interactions, decreasing problematic behaviors, increasing on-task behaviors, and playing with peers. The National Professional Development Center determined that social narratives meets the evidence-based practice criteria with 17 single-case design studies. In the first research study, titled A Social Stories Intervention Package for Students with Autism in Inclusive Classroom Settings, by Jeffrey Chan and Mark O'Reilly, students are taught using social stories, one of the types of social narratives used in the intervention. The students are 2 male students, Matt and Tim, with autism, aged 5 to 6. The intervention was implemented in training sessions prior to the start of the school day. Observation sessions lasted an hour and took place in the general education classroom. Targeted behaviors for Matt were inappropriate social interactions, inappropriate hand raising, and inappropriate vocalizations. For Tim, the targeted behaviors were inappropriate hand raising, inappropriate social initiations, and inappropriate vocalizations. Matt completed 13 intervention sessions over 5 weeks, and Tim completed 18 sessions over 10 weeks. Results show that positive behaviors increased and negative behaviors decreased after the introduction of the intervention. These results were maintained for up to 10 months. In summary, social narratives that display a social situation can be used to teach a target skill or behavior to students with autism.